In this presentation, I'm going to be talking about accessory organs, specifically the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. Now, accessory organs are not part of the GI tract. They're not part of the digestive system, but they play a really important role in the digestive system and other systems, for example, the endocrine system, the nervous system. We're not going to talk about how they're important in those other systems. We're just going to talk about, in this presentation, how they're important in the digestive system. Okay, so let's start with the liver. The liver is this red sort of fleshy organ here, and the liver, its main job is to produce bile. It's its main function. And what is bile? Bile is this secretion that's produced by the liver that is essential for digestion and absorption of fats. The liver produces bile. Here's how bile works. So lipids or fats are hydrophobic. They're water-hating. And most of our body is aqueous, and therefore the lipids need to be broken down by bile because fat is hydrophobic. It won't dissolve in water. So what bile does, what this substance does, is it surrounds fat droplets and it allows them to be digested and absorbed. So in a lot of ways, it's like soap. It breaks up these oil particles and surrounds them. It gets them into smaller particles and it allows our body to absorb them. So the liver produces the bile, and the gallbladder, this little organ right here, it stores bile. So you can see it's right under here, tucked under the liver. And so the gallbladder and the liver both secrete bile into this duct here, the common bile duct, which empties into the duodenum. Remember, this was part of the small intestine. So how do we digest, how do we absorb our fats? Well, the liver and the gallbladder are very important for that because they both secrete bile into this common bile duct, which gets delivered to the small intestine. So here is I'm not showing a picture of that yet. We'll get to that. Before I get to that picture, actually here it is showing this common bile duct that's going into the intestine. And then here I want to talk about the pancreas. So here is the pancreas, this organ that's represented by this yellow color here in this photograph. And the pancreas, what it does is its main function is to produce pancreatic juice. So what is pancreatic juice? It's a mix of water, bicarbonate, and digestive enzymes. So I told you that the intestine, there were a lot of digestive enzymes in the intestine. Many of them come from the pancreas. Bicarbonate, so what is bicarbonate? Well, I told you that the the stomach was very acidic. The intestine is not, and so a lot of bicarbonate, which is a basic solution, which neutralizes acid, is excreted into the into the small intestine to neutralize the chyme that comes from the stomach, which is very acidic. And of course, we need digestive enzymes to break down our nutrients. So these enzymes help to speed up the reaction that breaks down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And the pancreatic juice that is produced by the pancreas travels from the pancreas to the duodenum in this pancreatic duct. So here is the pancreas. It's producing all of this pancreatic juice, and it sends it into this pancreatic duct, which meets up with the common bile duct. So the bile comes down the common bile duct. The pancreatic juices come down this pancreatic duct. They meet up here, and they are excreted into the small intestine, the duodenum, this very first part of the small intestine, right where the small intestine meets up with the stomach, which you can't see here. And again, this just shows how this pancreatic duct, so here's the pancreas, here's the pancreatic duct, and then this common bile duct shows how the pancreatic duct and the common bile duct meet up and then empty into this first part of the small intestine, the duodenum. And then here is this figure in your book that shows the pancreas, the gallbladder, and the liver, and how they all contribute to excreting these secretions into the duodenum. So go ahead and review this because this gives a nice little overview of how these 3 accessory organs are important for digestion.